Sponsored and promoted by Legit Paranormal.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? Daniel Benoit here. I'm the founder of the ECBRO and your host of ECBRO Bigfoot Radio. Let me tell you guys something. We got a great guest scheduled for tonight. I can't wait to sit down and talk with her. Her name's Marie DUMONT. She's from Florida and she researches the Florida skunk ape. So we're going to learn a little bit about the Florida skunk ape and her research and see what she has to share with us. Meanwhile, I want to give you guys a heads up. It's coming up very soon, approaching so fast. June 17th, right here in Virginia, is the Virginia Bigfoot Conference. Yes, hosted by yours truly. And if you need information on that, go visit our event website at www.vabigfootcon.com. And find us on Facebook. Like our page, follow our page, and if you have any questions, shoot us an email at ecbro98@gmail.com. Meanwhile, let me get back to the studio and sit down and let's get connected with Marie. See you guys soon. All right, well, here we are. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Zone, ECBRO, also ECBRO Bigfoot Radio, which this will be airing later on Spotify and iHeartRadio and all the other cool platforms. So, yeah. Welcome, Marie.
Hi. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually very honored and glad that you were able to come on here and do this with me. So, I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about you tonight.
Yes.
So, yeah, the last couple of Fridays, I actually have not had a podcast. Well, one weekend I was out camping. Last weekend, I don't know. I think I was just busy or just out of it. But yeah, but you're my first guest back on the radio here, the podcast. And so, yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting into our discussion tonight. So, yeah, and I want to let everybody know that as our audience is still building up, if you're just now popping on, feel free to share this around, give our live stream a like. Currently, this is airing or being broadcast on YouTube. And I will try my best to watch the comments tonight. So if you have questions for Marie at any time, please don't hesitate. Feel free. I'm sorry if I do end up missing anybody, but I'll pop the questions up on the screen. So, yeah, Marie, one thing I like to tell people sometimes, you'll see me disappear on and off, but I'll still be there. You'll still hear me and see me, but I usually turn my camera off because I have to do all this. I'm currently using my phone at the moment. I'm not on a laptop, so that's why I do that. So can't hide the magic fingers. So, yeah. So, Marie, let's go ahead and get started. I got to ask, how long have you been involved with skunk ape, the skunk ape research? And actually, if you want to fill us in on what got you started, that would be great.
Okay, so I've been a paranormal investigator for over 30 years. And so it started out with ghosts, and then it evolved into aliens and UFOs. And then it turned into, I started to be very interested in Bigfoot because I had some friends who were really, really big time into Bigfoot. And so I've been looking, I'm doing research for Bigfoot and skunk apes now for 4 years. And when I started this, I would go out by myself. I would post pictures on my Facebook page, my personal page. And but I only had like 3 friends on there who were interested in Bigfoot. And that just was not the right place for me to do that. So then I was looking on Facebook for some kind of Florida research group that I could join. I couldn't find anything I really liked at the time. So that's when I decided to start my own. And it's just turned into this great, wonderful thing. So we got the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group, which is on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel by the same name, and also have a website, midfloridabigfoot.com. And you could take a look there and see what it's, see our pictures, photographs of the research that we've done, the things we've seen, and stuff like that. So, so I started going out with some of the people in my group, and that's how I formed my team. I'm the founder of the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Team, and we do both Bigfoot and skunk apes. We've been several locations in Florida. We are located in the central Mid-Florida area, like Tampa area.
Okay.
And so that allows us to go to the Green Swamp. We can go to Mayaca. We can go down to the Everglades. We can go to Ocala National Forest. We have many, many, many options. So that's how it all started.
Very cool. Roughly, can you tell me just out of curiosity, like how far is that from Fort Myers?
Where I'm at?
Yeah, like as far as your main research area.
About 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Now, the funny note is the only reason I'm asking that is because you guys need to drag a skunk ape over to my sister's house. just to put her in her place, because she's I got 2 older sisters. Melissa is the oldest out of the 2, but however, she hasn't done it in a while, but she has actually given me a lot of crap about doing what I do, and so she's one of the major. She's not a skeptic. She's just a big time non-believer. And I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna I'm gonna fix her one day.
Yeah. So on March 11th, I organized a meeting down in the Everglades at David Shealy's place, the Skunk Ape Research headquarters. It was the David Shealy Everglades Skunk Ape meeting, and so we had some great speakers there. We had Dusty Crum. He's a python hunter. He's been on the History Channel and Discovery Channel. He's got TV shows. Betty Osceola, she's a Miccosukee tribe member, and she's an Everglades educator. So the whole purpose of the meeting, plus David Shealy and a few others, the whole purpose of the meeting was that people could learn about the Everglades and skunk apes. So Betty Osceola, she told her personal skunk ape experience story, which was great, and of course David told his, and then Dusty Crum has not had a actual sighting, but he smelled a skunk ape. So, so every speaker told their story. And we also had a historian there who talked about the history of the skunk ape in the Everglades. So it was nice. It was nice because you don't hear that much about the skunk ape.
Right. Well, I'm trying to figure out where to go. I have all these just random questions popping in my head.
Just blur them out.
Right. So let's talk about, you mentioned the smell. How would you describe a smell on the skunk ape?
Well, I have not personally smelled it. He described it as being like a sulfur kind of smell.
Okay.
Also been described as a kind of like a dog who got squirted by a skunk and got all wet and is just stinky. So, but he said it was like a wall. That's what Dusty said. He said he was walking through the Everglades, looking for pythons and things. And he was like, whoa, it was just it just hit him like a brick wall, the stench.
Wow.
But he didn't actually have a physical sighting.
Okay. Now, I know there's a lot of swamps down that way. I mean, I know gases, you mentioned the sulfate, and swamps and stuff put out gases and stuff. And you believe that, I've actually once heard this mentioned, and the more I thought about it, I guess it makes sense. Any animal that might be inhabiting that area around the swamps over a period of time may actually absorb the fumes of the smells, and that may interact with their body odors. Perhaps, do you believe that could be a possibility on where they're getting their smell?
It could be, but just remember, this is Florida. It's hot.
Right.
It's
Okay.
hot.
Yeah.
It's humid. It's miserable. I'm sure they give off some nasty body odor.
Mm.
Plus, of course, they're probably in the water, in the swamp water, and of course bugs
Yeah.
and stuff, and they're probably covering themselves in mud, which is what I think they do. And
Right.
but yeah, it's hot, it's humid, it's miserable down there, down here
Mm.
too. And
Right.
I'm sure it's a body odor thing of
Yeah.
just the climate, the weather.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense for sure. Um, Now you said you haven't seen anything, or but have you had any other experiences that you can't explain?
Yeah, I've had my first major experience was a vocalization, a very
Hmm.
long vocalization in the Ocala National Forest. I was with my friends 4 years ago, and that's really what really started me on this journey was camping out Ocala National Forest, coldest night of the year. And about 1:30 in the morning, we heard this incredible long, 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 long vocalization. It was just amazing. It wasn't close by. It was maybe like a quarter mile, half a mile away, but it just, you could hear it through the forest. It was unbelievable. Just one big call, vocalization. And we were like looking at each other and we're like, oh my God, is that what we think it is? And that's what started
Hmm.
me on the journey. I'm like, that's it. I said, they're real. They're real. And I want to do some research. I want to investigate, so that's what I've been doing with my team. So,
Absolutely. Now, with your team members, any others that may have come across evidence? I mean, this is a stupid question. I'm sure you guys do. You guys ever share cross evidence? Like, hey, this is what I came across. At some whatever.
oh
You guys
yeah,
have a
well,
collection?
we have a collection. Teammate Mike Aguilar, he's got all our casts, footprint
Hmm.
casts,
Right.
And what was really cool in the Everglades, we saw this huge gator print, and we casted it,
Oh
and
wow.
the cast came out unbelievably cool because you could see the claws, you could see all the texture of the alligator hide. It was
Oh
his
wow.
back foot, but it was huge, gigantic. So we had to
I
cast it, but it turned out amazing.
That's awesome. I think I may have seen that. You guys post pictures of that like
Oh
this
yeah,
past year?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like February. February, I think,
Okay.
is when we found it. And but we find footprints, pretty not frequently, but I would say we'll find at least a print once a month or so. And
Right.
depending on the substrate, if we can cast it or not,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, I want to share this. He was just saying hello, but hike with
hello.
Mike from the
Hi.
land of the skunk ape. So apparently we have another Floridian down there. So
Nice. Yes. There's two of us. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, you mentioned also David Shealy, which I've had him on a long time ago, and man, his connection was a little rough. But I mean, I totally get that,
Oh,
because I think he may have been at his store where his signal wasn't the best. I guess I don't know. I can't recall for sure, but
there is no signal, no Wi-Fi whatsoever at his place. If you stand in the parking lot, maybe you could text somebody, but there is
yeah.
no way you can do anything else. My phone won't work when I'm down there at all.
Wow.
So I'm
So
sure
yeah,
that. But he's a member
yeah.
of our group. We're the only group I think that he belongs to, is what he said. And he absolutely loves us, and we do everything. He supports us. We support him. We've gone researching with him. When we go down there, we go with him. We've been out on swamp buggies with him, and we've gone exploring. So, he's
very awesome.
He's the real deal. He's very good. He knows the Everglades like the back of his hand. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great guy.
Now, yeah, he's. I know he's been in magazines. He's been, there's video footage of his skunk ape and sighting, and I know there's been several people out there that's find it questionable. However, I mean, it's an older video for one thing, and I mean, yeah, I personally find it to be credible.
Yes,
I mean,
my team has we've been doing reenactments out there because we're trying to. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a hoax," it's just a guy in a Bigfoot outfit running through the grass. Well, number one, if you know anything about the Everglades, it's not just grass. It's
exactly
sawgrass. Can be up to like this high. There's even points in the reenactment that my team did. It was over their head. You couldn't see them. And
wow.
So we've been doing this reenactments now for the past 2 months because it's the dry season. And his sighting was on July 8th of 2000, and which is the rainy season, the wet season. And there's at least 2 feet of water out there. It's called the River of Grass. It's all flooded, all underwater. So, my team members, Mike and Chris, they tried to, go to the spot. We were filming where David was standing. They walked out to where the one of the first hammocks were. Hammock is like an island of trees.
Okay.
It is. Okay. So they walked to the hammock, and they tried to run, because in the video, the skunk ape walks for a while and then it starts running. And so they were walking through it, but they couldn't run at all because the sawgrass was so thick. It was at least 2 feet thick. Their feet were getting buried in the sawgrass. So they were like, they couldn't run at all because they were going to trip. They couldn't lift their feet out in order to try and run. So we couldn't do it in the dry season. And then 3 weeks ago, I had another friend of mine, Thomas Brandon. He is a long distance trail runner. So he's used to running on all kinds of terrain. He runs like 7 miles every couple of days, blah, blah, blah. So we had him go out there and try it himself because he's used to terrain, right? And he couldn't do it. He would try to run and then he'd walk, and then he'd try to run and walk. He couldn't do it because his feet kept getting stuck in the grass. And of course, there's holes out there, there's logs out there, there's gators out there, there's all kinds of things, and you can't see what you're running through.
Exactly.
So David Shealy's original video is 7 minutes long. But what's on YouTube is a 2-minute clip of it.
Yeah, because the online articles or whoever picked that up, yeah, they got to cut things short.
Yes.
But real quick, Mike on the live chat was asking if you want. I know you mentioned it early in the beginning, but for those who may have came on a little late after we did the intro, could you make the mention of your YouTube channel again? I know it's the Mid-Florida.
Yes, it's the same name as my Facebook group. It's Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group. So please subscribe. We got a bunch of little videos there you can watch. All the videos are specific research, like a structure we find, a footprint we find, some kind of shelter thing we find. So they're just purely research videos, just so people can see what we're finding out there.
Awesome, and I hope people do go subscribe to you because that's one thing we like to do. I'm big about promoting people and everything. So, um, I always of course, I promote myself all the time. I have to because no
Right.
one else is doing it.
Exactly.
so,
Right. Hello.
so, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, so I'm always trying to get information on other people to put the word out there for them. Especially I host the Virginia Bigfoot Conference, so
Mhm.
I am big on putting my sponsors out there. My sponsors are awesome. I have dedicated people that have been reoccurring sponsors, which is great, and so I got a few new ones this year too. So I always make sure I got to put the word out there. So, but
Now
yeah,
you had Mike Familon on the show like a month
uh,
ago or so.
almost a month ago. Yes, yeah, actually, yeah, about a month ago, and he's actually one of my speakers this year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a great
yeah.
guy. We invited him to go down with us to the Everglades. So he spent the weekend with us in February, and he was there for our first reenactment.
Oh, okay. I may possibly have seen those pictures because I know him and my friend Gwendolyn from Pennsylvania. She joined him on his travels down south recently, or not long ago. So
Yep. So
yeah.
he joined us. So he was there. He saw what it was like out there, and he
Mm.
filmed. He hasn't released. He has done his own little documentary about our weekend down there in the Everglades with David Shealy and stuff. It hasn't come out yet, but it's going to come out, I think, in a week or two. He's going to release
Very
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some projects going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. He's got his
Absolutely.
tours. He's going all over the place. Yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy.
So Mike is letting us know here. I'll pull it up on the screen. I don't know if you can see him when I do that, but yeah, he's asking. Well, first of all, he said he just subscribed to your channel, and his
Yes.
question to you is, yeah, the Mid Florida Bigfoot. Have you guys ever been or explored the Green Swamp?
Oh,
So,
yes, a lot. That's like our main research area is the Green Swamp. Yep.
very
Yes.
awesome.
It's a great place. It's very cool. There's been all kinds of weird stuff out there, including UFO activity.
Oh, okay,
hmm
very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, excuse me, I got this something in my throat. It won't go away. Stacy Brown. I know him, and there's a few others. You guys ever connect or do any work with Stacy?
I think Stacy had he lives North Florida.
Oh,
So
okay.
so it's quite a drive. But he had an event like a investigation weekend camp out at around Mayaca State Park.
Okay.
And that's where the skunk apes kind of start, they're kind of around there. And so
Mm.
I did the investigation with him. I was there for the weekend. So whenever we
Okay.
get the chance to go out and do something, yeah, him and RPG. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember some years ago, I have seen pictures and then some alleged video footage that his team had captured out there. I think one might have been part of a thermal image video clipping. And I'm not talking about the one that he had that was showed featured on Finding Bigfoot. There was another one that his team had captured. Um, and then Stevie Strings and
Mhm.
a few others. Yeah, there's pictures of them holding this big giant foot cast. They came across a couple different casts there a while back, which was very impressive looking there. I said, man,
Yeah, Stevie found a really nice print about a month and a half ago when he went to, I think it was in Mayaca, and he found a
okay.
really cool print where the toes are like crooked. They're like angled, all of
Oh,
the
really?
toes. Yeah, it's really odd. It's a very odd print, but it's awesome. It's very
I'll,
impressive. I don't
I'll have
remember how
to.
many toes. I don't know if there's 4 or 5 toes. I don't know if you know that or not. The reports, the difference between, like I said, I talked about Bigfoots and skunk apes, and it just seems the reports are different. Like Central Florida to North Florida versus Central Florida down south. And, the ones up north, the stories, the reports from North Florida, they're more the traditional Bigfoots, that you see, just big and gnarly, but with 5 toes. But then when you hit further south of where we're at, when you hit Mayaca, all the way down to the Everglades, the stories change. The creature is smaller. It's about 5 to 7 feet tall, thin, less hairy, aggressive, and has 4 toes.
Okay. Now, in other southern states, just north of Florida, there has been reports. I know the Fouke monster was reported to allegedly have, I think, 3 toes. I know in other states in the surrounding general area down south there in that corner, I've heard of other reports of them having 3, maybe up to 4 toes, which is all I've always found interesting. Then again, when I first started hearing these, I'll be totally honest, I'm thinking, well, they got gators down there. I said, what if they're finding gator tracks? But then way up this end of, this part of the United States, like in different parts of Florida, and I think even possibly Ohio, there's been 3-toed tracks found that people are saying belong to a Bigfoot. So if they are belonging to a Bigfoot, I guess there's something in the genes where there's a defect along the line somewhere. I don't know. I mean, what do you think that could be? What's the cause of them having? Could it be interbreeding?
Yes, it could be interbreeding. Because we obviously we have no idea. But yeah, it could be interbreeding. Because, like I said, it's extremely hot here, and when you hit further south, it's just miserable. So you're not going to have that giant, typical Bigfoot creature with muscles and lots of hair and stuff like that. Something like that would never survive down south. So it has kind of, I think, evolved. Evolution has made it a thinner creature, just like deer. Deer in North Florida are bigger than deer down south. Deer down south are much smaller in size because they can't, because of the heat, the humidity, and the food supply is different. It's not the greatest in the world because of all the water. And so everything is just, it's different. It's very different when you cross the tropical line of Florida. It seems to change. It just seems to change. Like around here, Green Swamp, or we go to other places in Hillsborough County or Ocala. Most of those are 5-toed prints. Okay.
Are you seeing the question right here from Mike? He's asking if your group does a lot of hiking and camping along the power line corridors that a lot of wildlife use.
We have done that, but again, it's hot. It's hot. So it's very hard to walk the power lines because you are out in the open. I tend to like to be in the swamps where there's trees, there's more shade, and, but but we'll do something like that in the wintertime when it's cooler so we can deal with being out, in the sun all the time. But, there's a power line that separates Colt Creek State Park and the Hampton track at Green Swamp that I like to walk on. And, because it seems to be it's a crossing place, so like there's hunting in the Green Swamp, hunting season and stuff like that. Well, guess where all the deer go? All the deer go to Colt Creek because there's no hunting there. If the deer know that, I'm sure there's other animals that know that too. They just cross the power line. They just cross the power lines. They get into Colt Creek State Park, and they're safe.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've always said that to people about, the deer, they're smart. It's like it's built into them. They know the hunting season,
Yes.
I mean, I noticed during the hunting season because you have a lot more, the forest, the more pressure. There's people in there hunting, doing whatever. And then outside of the hunting season, when everything's calmed down and people thinned out of the woods, the deer seem to be not as timid or skittish. I mean, there's been times at nighttime I've had deer 4 or 5 feet away from me, just walking nonchalantly, just like, why ain't you scared of me? I'm right here, um, little, or like in my our camping areas where I research it's primitive, so
Mhm.
I'll be sitting there at camp and I was like, I'll hear something over to my right in the woods. It's probably just a squirrel, but I look over, I was like, oh, wow, here's a deer just nonchalantly walking just inside the tree line on the outside of camp.
Mm.
I was like, I know know I'm here. I know you smell me. I was
Exactly.
like, it's like, okay, enjoy your time. I mean, I don't mind. I love watching animals. I love wildlife.
Oh, of
So,
course. Of
but
course.
yeah. So yeah, it's like the deer. They're smart. They know.
Oh, yeah.
But
We had a flashlight. We were shining at night in Cold Creek, and we counted 25 deer out there in a field just outside of the Green Swamp. So they all just came over and ate, and they just hang out there because they know they're safe there.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. Talking about Colt Creek, Mike was mentioning that he's going to be going there soon. Um,
Great place.
yeah,
Nice,
he said.
nice place to camp. Very
Yeah,
nice.
he said that's why he's going there because at the end of April, turkey season comes. Yeah, wait, hold on. Turkey season is on. Yeah, it's not until the end of April, which ours actually up this way. Ours starts tomorrow, but so yeah,
Yeah,
be
I
thankful
forget
you're not
about
up this way.
Yeah, I forget about it being still hunting season at times in April,
Right.
but because I think I'm going to go to Cold Creek on Easter morning. And
Okay.
that's the thing about my group, my research team. We are totally dedicated, serious researchers. We go out every single weekend,
Mm,
every weekend. If we can't go out as a team, then some of the other team members go out or I go out. We are out in the woods in the swamps every weekend. We
nice.
have been for like 2 years. So we're very dedicated, to
Yeah.
researching the
One of these
swamps.
days. Yeah, I need to get down there. I would love to meet up with you guys and get to know the area, get familiar with it a little bit, and or just to be out there. Period. I mean, and just see what happens. If we hear anything, and I totally get it. As I tell people, because I organize group campouts up here, and you know, I mean, people sign up to participate with these. I say, you know, just enjoy your time here. I say I can't guarantee anything's going to
Oh,
happen.
oh yeah,
I mean,
you can't. You
yeah,
can't.
it's definitely a bonus if we hear something cool or see something or find something. But I mean, I've been out there numerous times. Yes, I found a lot over the years, but there's been all the times there's been a dead zone.
Mhm.
Uh, it's like, man, I don't let it discourage me because again, I love being out there.
Mhm.
That's I can't get out there enough sometimes,
Me
but
too.
it's always a bonus to come across something. It's whatever. But so,
Yeah,
but 'cause
I have to
I don't
be
even.
out. I have to go out in the woods every single week.
Yes.
And I have to be out in nature, get away from people. No offense. And but I just enjoy. It's good for the soul. It's good for the
it,
soul, and I thoroughly love researching and just looking around. And you never know what you're going to see out there. We've seen some weird stuff, that's for sure.
right.
Some weird.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that goes for anyone else that doesn't get out to the woods that often or much. If you need a stress reliever and something to rewind or to reset your bodily soul function, whatever you want to call it, get out there by yourself, even if it's by yourself or with a friend, or just go out there to the woods and find a nice, relaxed area and just sit there and listen to nature.
Yeah, yeah. Sit
So
on a log somewhere. It doesn't mean you have to go off trail. You can just go down the trail, sit on a log, look around. I'm looking at wildflowers. I'm looking at mushrooms. Of course, I'm looking for footprints and structures and
yeah,
things. But I look at it all. and I just love. I get the biggest kick out of finding things,
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Worst case scenario, you might get bit by a rattlesnake, or
Yeah,
or
which I almost
attacked by.
did 3 weeks ago. Which I almost
Right.
did. I came 1 foot of stepping on a diamondback, and I did not have my snake boots on.
Oh.
And
I.
team member Mike, I think he actually stepped on the rattlesnake's head because we didn't see it. It didn't give us any kind of warning or anything. I think he was just
Wow.
taking a nap, sunning in the sun. Mhm.
Oh. Man, and that's
We
the
were
thing. They got
lucky.
plenty of sun.
We were
Yeah.
lucky. That was 2 minutes within our investigation. That definitely woke us up. It was like, whoa. It's like, oh my God. I've never, I almost stepped on it. He stepped on it. It was insane. It was scary.
Wow.
But I loved
Yeah,
it.
and I'm sure the snakes that it's pretty obvious the pythons and whatnot, but even the rattlesnakes, I'm sure they get pretty decent size down there too, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the moccasins. That's my first time I've ever seen a rattlesnake out there, diamondback, because typically you'll find the water moccasins. I'm more scared of those than I am a rattlesnake because I almost
Right.
stepped on a moccasin once, and somebody grabbed me and pulled me away because I was getting ready to step on it, and they're like moccasin, and they grabbed me and pulled me back.
Wow.
And, that's scary. That's really scary stuff.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, like I recall. I mean, I've come across numerous snakes out here in the woods, but most of them are usually the black snakes.
The racers.
The racers, king snakes, some rat snakes, and yeah, I mean, some of them they won't mess with you. As long as you leave them alone, and they're non-venomous, of course. But I love observing them, and I try to encourage people to leave them alone. Don't be you just leave them alone. I said, especially if they're around your home or your farm or barn or whatever, they keep the mice population down. They eat the rodents,
Absolutely.
and they will kill the venomous snakes. They will kill a copperhead, which are copperheads and rattlesnakes up here are very common. So yeah, I mean, they will kill a venomous snake, which a lot of people don't realize that, but they will. So, yeah, it's actually, long time ago when I first learned that, I was like, "What? Really?" I had to look it up for myself, and it's real.
I didn't know
I never,
that.
I never witnessed it happening, but yeah, they besides eating small frogs and mice and other little rodents, yeah, they will kill a venomous snake. So yeah, be nice and be sweet to the black snakes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's weird because we've been going out in the woods, like swamps and woods and stuff for over a couple of years now, and last month was the most snakes I have ever seen. Weird.
Wow.
Weird. Just black racers and the diamondbacks, rattlesnake, and it was just like. And I found some kind of weird stripes. I think it was some kind of rat snake too. I'm like, wow. I've never encountered so many snakes before. So,
wow.
And I normally do wear snake boots for that reason. And it's, obviously makes you feel more comfortable and secure out there. That's one less thing you have to worry about is if you got, knee-high snake boots on. Yes, they could still get you, but at least I don't have to oh my God, typically, watch where I'm walking, which, that's how I saw a rattlesnake and almost got bit by it. But,
yeah, I know. I've had people tell me myself, yeah, I should be wearing them when I'm out there. Because, there's been a few times I'm walking through the woods and, you don't see it because the leaf litter and everything. But I step in holes sometimes. Whoa, crap. Which is not good for my bad knees, but it happens. And you don't know if you're stepping into a den or, especially if you're walking over. Yeah. I mean, because.
That's your first thought. When you step in a hole, you're like, oh my God. For me, it's a gator hole, right? Or a snake.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. So.
Yeah, or even up here, I'm constantly stepping over down trees and logs because, snakes will use a down tree as an ambush spot. People don't realize that too. So as I'm approaching the tree, I was like, well, it's quicker and easier just to step over. And I'm
I
looking
look,
ahead of
I
time. I
look,
said, you better not be under there.
yeah, I look around
Yeah.
the log. I look around before I take that step. For sure, I
Yep.
do the exact same thing.
Or if you're with somebody, yeah, you go up ahead and check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, you go. You go.
But be my luck, I still get bit.
Of course.
So I hope I never get bit, but I know it's
I know.
regardless if it's a a venomous or non-venomous. Those teeth. You look at the teeth of a snake, man. They're like razors. They're like little needles. I'm sure they hurt. I mean, I never had it happen to me, but I'm sure, and I can only imagine the pain that it inflicts. So,
Yeah,
so
we have the pygmy rattlesnakes that are real little, and but their bite is pretty bad. For
right.
something that little, they got a vicious bite. So
Oh, I can imagine.
mhm.
Now, the rattlesnakes that we have up here, we have the eastern rattlesnake. Which they usually average up to maybe 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. I think.
Mhm.
But 4 feet's the average of them. Just like the copperhead that we have up here. Copperheads 4 feet is the average on them. So, then the black snakes, of course, they get up to 6 feet long. Some of them. But
Have
yeah,
you heard of
they're.
the python that David Shealy has? Have you heard about Goldie?
Is that the one that's inside of his store? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I've seen pictures of it.
in the exhibit hall. It's a 24-foot reticulated python. It's
Mm,
almost a world record. The world record reticulated python is like 25 feet. So
wow,
she's almost a world record.
wow,
Almost.
that's awesome though.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, was it no the anaconda? I was watching just this past weekend, I believe it was, or earlier this week. I love watching Jeremy Wade's River Monsters. And I'm fascinated by all the different fish species out there and some of the monster fish he catches. And but there was an episode that he was down, and I believe it was somewhere in South America. I believe it was, might have been on the outskirts of Brazil, perhaps. But yeah, they had an episode where he was actually researching or looking up the anacondas. And because he was looking for because some of these species of fish that he investigates, because there's usually a death involved. So he's investigating what possibly could have caused that death. But
Right.
yeah, the segment was all about the anacondas, and I know there's been monster anacondas out there found, which I guess they're about on average as far as they are known to go up to 25 feet. Um, I don't know. I know that there's probably been some that's probably been, maybe years ago. I don't follow that research. I don't look into that.
Mhm.
But I believe if I remember correctly, I think there's been some bigger than 25 feet along the way. So,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah. So
but
it's pretty. She's huge. She's just absolutely.
yeah. I know I wouldn't want to encounter a python or an anaconda. They're both constrictors. I mean, they'll crush you to death. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And
but,
at the our meeting, the skunk ape meeting that I had, we had a David's caretaker for the reptiles. So she spoke, and she was handling the snakes, and she was handling these lizards, geckos, and stuff like that. And so she had some kind of boa, and it started like wrapping itself around her leg, kind of thing.
oh,
So she had to like kind of unwrap it, and you know, so it's
wow,
it's crazy stuff there. And but
man.
when we go skunk ape hunting, like down in the Everglades area, we'll drive around at night because we're looking for pythons also. So we're looking for pythons and skunk apes.
Hmm. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I mean, you got to be about your wits. You got to be familiar with, and look out for these things too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Harold said that Yeah, anacondas can grow over 30 plus feet long and be big around like a telephone pole.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would say Goldie's about that wide. Her head is not that big, but
yeah.
her body, is just like ginormous, very thick,
Oh,
very
I can
huge
imagine.
and thick. Yeah. Hmm.
Now, talking about snakes, I don't know. I'm not scared of snakes, but then again, I won't touch them. Like, if I see a snake out in the woods, like, I'll get real close to them. I want to observe them. I'll check them out,
Right.
like, be nosy.
Yeah.
I respect their space. I don't want to bother them because
Me
I've
too.
been with other.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been with others that they'll pick it up. I said, man, leave it alone. No, they'll
No,
pick it
no,
up,
no, no,
and
no, no.
yeah, they'll pick it up. Of course, the snake doesn't want to be bothered, so it's biting the heck out of the guy. So I say
Yeah.
it's a non-venomous snake, but like I'm watching, I'm standing there like less than 2 feet away, watching the snake bite the guy on the arm. I say, yeah, it's non-venomous, but they do have bacteria. You can still get sick, if you get bit enough. But
Just leave them alone. Leave them alone.
yeah,
They're doing let them do their snake thing. They're going to
yeah,
slither off. They don't want to hang around with us. If they're
right.
awake, they're going to slither off. They're going to get away from you, typically.
Yeah, finally, that's what this one particular snake did. It was a big, long black snake, and of course, it went off, and then it found an old rotted stump and went inside the rotted stump and hid inside there. Like, yeah, so no one's picked me up again.
Yeah.
So,
So what I was
yeah,
telling you earlier about, skunk apes have been reported to be very aggressive.
right,
And I always tell people, yeah, well, it's the Everglades. Everything in the Everglades is out to kill you. So, of course, you're going to be aggressive, right? You've got Florida panthers that are going to want to kill you. The pythons want to kill you. The big gators want to kill you. The crocodiles want to kill you. Other snakes, bugs. There's just all kinds of things out there. There's sharks. There's sharks in the Everglades, even that
I
they come
believe
in
it.
from the Gulf of Mexico. It's 2 feet of water, and they're swimming around in that grass, going for the fish and stuff. So
Right.
I think David even he tripped on a shark once.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, it's just crazy, but everything out there is out to kill you. So of course they're going to be super aggressive out there. They're just trying to survive, right? So,
Absolutely.
that's
So,
just what I've heard. So
so here's a question, and I don't hear about this really talked about or discussed much, but I know they're there. Just like I know they are up here in Virginia and the surrounding states. A lot of us know this. A lot of us have witnessed them at some point in time. Then again, your authorities, like your game departments, will deny all this. But
yes,
you guys have what's known as the Florida Panther. Is that correct?
yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, now does do your local? I mean, is anybody down there denying it by any chance, or is it acknowledged down there publicly
Acknowledge what? In what way?
as far as its existence
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
of it inhabit? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. In the Everglades, especially, Betty Osceola just did a documentary film with Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's a
Oh.
documentary called Path of the Panther. And it's all about the Florida Panther and how these developers want to come in. They want to build 5 more roads through the Everglades. And that's the biggest thing that kills the Florida Panthers are cars. They're crossing
Right.
the road, they get hit by a car. So they're afraid that a lot of the population is going to get wiped out. So it's teaching people about the Florida Panther, what they do, and how we can conserve them. We got to
Right.
protect these animals and stuff, and we don't need any more roads in the Everglades. No,
Mm.
but I've seen a Florida Panther. I saw one just north of Tampa. I saw one.
Right.
Mhm.
Very awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to just get clarification on that one. It's because, like I said, I've been in discussions with several people, and why would the authorities deny such a thing up this way? I mean, I seen one in my research area cross a forest road. I
Mhm.
mean, you can't deny seeing something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there's been times. I mean, I know we got bobcats. I've captured them on my trail cameras. I actually won just about a week ago. Well, last weekend when I collected my cameras, a couple weeks ago actually. But yeah, that was the first time I ever captured a bobcat. Now, as far as I have yet to capture a mountain lion, I would love to. Yeah, if I share it publicly, yeah, you're gonna have your believers, and then you're gonna have a lot of non-believers. That ain't one. That's just a domestic house cat. Blah blah blah.
Oh no, there's no
Yeah.
mistaking a Florida Panther. I've petted one before. I
Wow.
years ago when they used to do crazy stuff. There was I don't know if there was like a wildlife sanctuary was trying to raise some money, so they brought a Florida Panther to a bank in
What?
downtown Tampa. They put the cat on a desk. The cat took up the entire desk of
Wow.
somebody, and they had it on a collar, and the handler had a leash on it. And for $10, you could pet a Florida Panther.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Of course, I pay $10 to pet the Florida Panther. So I'm petting the panther, and the panther is just like, like a cat, just kind of like, this feels great. And I started to kind of like go around here, scratching, and the
Right.
handler's like, don't go past the ears. And I was like,
Oh,
shoot. Because he could just, turn his
Oh.
head and grab me, bite me, right?
right.
But best $10 I ever spent.
Wow.
They brought
Nah,
it
that's
into
cool.
a bank and laid it on somebody's desk back in the
Watch
day
it.
when we used to do fun things.
You just gave me a crazy idea. I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I'm gonna have to capture a mountain lion up here, bring it into the bank. Yep.
Fundraising.
For $10.
There you go, Daniel.
For $10, you could lose an arm.
Yeah, exactly. It was the best $10 I ever spent.
That is so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the argument down in the Everglades is, that you've got people saying that the pythons are eating everything in the Everglades because the wildlife is suffering down there. There's less birds, there's less deer, there's all these, there's less animals. So a lot of people say it's the pythons that are eating up everything. And some people believe that it's the panthers that are eating up everything.
I mean, there's a lot of competition there. You got a lot of predators that are competing for, their food sources, So I can't say that's really the case up this way because, I mean, here in Virginia, a lot of people don't realize and they underestimate what we have here. I mean, we have a lot of forest here. Now, when it comes to the whole Bigfoot thing, you got the Pacific Northwest. Of course, that's like considered Bigfoot capital of the North America or here, whatever. But, years ago, that's one of the things when I started getting involved with this and started learning about local reports here in Virginia. And when I started finding things, I said, you know what? I says, my mission was to spread awareness. Not just about me and who I am and what I do, but what's here in Virginia, and just basically on the East Coast.
We do the exact same thing. That's the goal of our team is to raise awareness of what's going on in Florida, that Bigfoots are here, skunk apes are here.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. We're doing the exact same thing as you.
Absolutely. And, when I do presentations, regardless if it's local or out of state, it's all about Bigfoot, but then I bring up the mountain lion, for the, and I explain why I talk about the mountain lion, how elusive they are, why why people say they're not here, it's the same thing with Bigfoot, Bigfoot's considered a mythical being, but, we know they're here. We have evidence of them, but yeah, you're going to have your group of people or your side that's going to deny that. Actually, funny, I'll bring this up real quick. A buddy of mine, the one I mentioned earlier, Mike Hughes of Cryptid HQ, actually brought something up to my attention. It was just published today on a local news article. It's a free publishing site, I guess. I don't know this. And, of course, the lady is talking about... First of all, she's not even on my friends list, but she she's familiar with my annual event, but she's talking about if you want your chance of having a Bigfoot encounter or seeing a Bigfoot, hit the road. And basically, she started naming Washington State, Oregon State, and then West Virginia. And then she talks about Virginia. Your chances are very low of here in Virginia, even though there's an annual Virginia Bigfoot convention, and she mentions my events and say they're just strictly for entertainment. There's no Bigfoot evidence here. I was like,
why? What the heck?
I was
How
like,
does she know?
I was like, yeah. I said, what little does she know? Okay, my buddy's like, you need to get on that thing and write a rebuttal. I said, well, apparently, if I could put an article, if I guess it's for anybody that could post something there. I was like, man, what little do people know? And I said, if I have these kind of tools where I can start putting stuff out there like that, I'll take advantage of that. I mean, I have a blog post. I like, sharing my research and stuff in there. But yeah, I mean, if I can start putting stuff and publishing things locally, I'm going to do it because I'm definitely going to respond to that article. But when I can gather information, and put stuff out there, because that's the biggest thing about here in Virginia when I got started. When I started looking into Bigfoot here in Virginia, I started getting reports of eyewitness accounts, and over the years I have met up with eyewitnesses, and gone and investigated their sightings and their locations, and I mean, I personally have found evidence, over the years, and I have a collection of footcasts, I mean, and you're skeptical. So how do you know someone ain't out there walking around? I think it's very unlikely someone's walking in barefoot in the national forest. Ranging with anywhere from a 14-inch up to a 17, 18-inch track. I mean, I know we have big bears here. I have seen their tracks, and I have seen the bears myself. I know the difference. But
I mean, the double prints. You see the double step. So you can tell the difference. But
so
we're the exact same way. We are out there to raise awareness because people don't. Florida, of all places, people don't think, they're Bigfoots. No, they just think we're just a giant beach, right? We're beach sand. But almost half the state's covered in forests. So there's a lot of parks. There's a lot of woods and a lot of swamps. And I personally like to be in the swamps. And we've seen all kinds of stuff. And, you don't know that until you go out there. You start seeing it for yourself. You're seeing these weird structures. You're seeing prints. You're finding all kinds of unusual things. And we don't know what it is, but it's fun. We enjoy it. And we're trying to raise awareness. Let people know. Florida, according to the BFRO, which is, their database of reported sightings, Florida is number 3 for the most. Washington's number 1, California's number 2, Florida's number 3, and nobody even thinks we have them here.
Oh yeah, well, that's the thing. You mentioned the BFRO and their database, and I think a lot of people depend on that source of information as the population of Bigfoot in certain areas. You would be surprised how many people do not come out in public with their.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got people that I'll tell you firsthand that these are people that never believed in Bigfoot. Some of these people were the ones that used to make fun of people or make mockery of it, and by coincidence or whatever, chance, or they had their sighting, and. Sometimes it takes them a while to come forward about it till they learn about you and get comfortable. Like, well, this guy's really into this. I want to let me tell him what I saw, So there's so many people out there that like, hey, so-and-so says, well, hey, I got a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't know if they want their information out there. I said, well, hey, send them my information. Tell them about me. And then if they feel comfortable, I'm all ears,
Right.
I'm not, if they want to keep it quiet, keep it on down low, I'm not going to put their information publicly. Exactly. I think I've had a couple people that were like that, but most don't mind me sharing their information, which I have. There's other information. I've shared a couple of local reports I've gathered, and investigated, but there's other stuff I have not put out there publicly. But yeah, Virginia, excuse me, Virginia itself is, I don't want to say highly populated, but I'll word it this way: it's got a lot of reports. And the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, it's underestimated. The East Coast is underestimated.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. You know, I have my group on Facebook, the Mid Florida Bigfoot Research Group, and when people want to join, I'm very particular on
mhm.
who I let in my group because I want to make sure they're not trolls. They're not going to cause drama or make
Right,
fun of people because I don't want anybody being ridiculed. If somebody's posting something that they saw or had an experience, I don't want anybody to make fun of them, you know. But there's some people that won't even do that, but they'll message me and
right.
they'll send me their stories or whatever because they don't even want to put it on Facebook, but they'll send
Oh
it to
yeah,
you because, like you said, they trust you. They know you're a
right.
serious researcher, so they're like, okay, I want to tell my story. I'm going to tell her, or I'm going to tell him. So that happens like almost daily on my phone.
Mm,
I get stories or people telling me things. So
absolutely. I've had both people email me directly or
yep.
message me on one of my Facebook pages. Like even
Mhm.
my Facebook event page. I've had people message me on there and tell me stuff,
Yeah.
and some of the information they share them with me is actually encouraging, because
Mhm.
like example, I had this lady earlier. She's like, "Well, I just bought a ticket to your event. I just bought your event T-shirt. My husband's a big time believer, but I'm your local resident skeptic." And she laughed about it, which was cool, And then she goes on to say all this stuff, and she went on wanting some other information for the event. So, yeah, I mean, people like that, they're cool. I like people like they're willing to support. Like she's supporting her husband. So, um, but like I said, I've had people share me their experiences through whatever emails and messages on Facebook and on off of Facebook. So I love hearing this stuff. I love learning about it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's right here in my state. So
Oh yeah, definitely. Me too. It's like, ooh, Florida. Yes.
yeah,
Because
right,
because like I said, it's very taboo here and nobody wants to talk about it, So
right,
it's when somebody tells you something or they have a Florida story, it's like, yay, that's great. So
yeah. I mean, I've done my investigations. I've done research outside of Virginia. Up and down the East Coast, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and even as far down as South Carolina. So I have yet to go a little further, but so,
well, you have to come to
but yeah,
Florida someday. And when you do, let us
ab-
know. You can go out with us.
absolutely,
With my team.
most
Mhm.
most definitely. Yeah, because I know there's like I got people that are members of my team. They love participating with every outing I do, and I got people that want, hey, next time you go down south, whatever, I want to go with you. That's all right, So
That's
because
good.
they know they're like, because I go to South Carolina for their Bigfoot festival, and it's not just there for the festival. We actually spend a couple extra days down there, putting some boots on the ground down there because
Mhm.
we learn about reports, we learn about activity in certain areas. If it's within the general area, that's what we're doing. There's a few of us planning on doing some extra activities down there while we're there, and spending an extra couple of days down there this year than we have been. So, because yeah, when we're down there, we enjoy just being there, and it's like, man, I don't want to go home. I got 7 hours to drive
I
home.
know. I know.
So, so, yeah. I mean, even when we are down there, I mean, the festivals, it's all outdoors, and I find it so cool with people coming up to you, you're
Mhm.
checking out your booth, but then they want to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
hear it. I love that stuff.
Yeah. So
So,
in 2 weeks, we have the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference here in
oh
Ocala.
yeah,
And, it's our big event. And it's really awesome. I was a speaker last year. And this year, we're going to have a table, on Researchers Row where people obviously can come up and talk to you. And it's great because you meet so many people. That's where you hear some really cool stories.
right.
So, but just to tell you, so I have a favorite spot outside of Tampa. And I don't tell anybody what it is, but I just love this place. I know there's a freaking Bigfoot in there, or skunk ape. Something is in there. I have found prints in there. I have found all kinds of weird sticks shoved in the ground with skulls. And I mean,
Oh, wow.
craziest stuff out there. So I was at an event like in October, and I'm in line, and some lady starts talking about Bigfoot, and I was like, whoa, what? And she told me her sighting. Guess where her sighting was? Exactly my research area.
Wow.
At the research area. And I'm like,
wow.
I knew it. I know there's a Bigfoot in there. I know there's something traveling through the corridor, because the tracks in Hillsborough County, they all connect to the green swamp. It's all one green area where they could just travel back and forth, depending on, what food they're looking for, what it is they're wanting to do. So,
right.
But when she said that, I was like, yes, I knew it. So she saw one driving down the road, 1:30 in the morning. She was going around a curve at my place, and standing in the middle of the road, there he was. She almost hit it.
Wow.
She had to swerve out of the way. So,
wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, maybe one of these days I'll get picked up to come down there and speak at that event. So,
yeah, it's a great event. It's a great event.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I got a few this year that I'll be attending. So I try not to get too involved because there's a lot I got to watch on my part, like how much I get involved with. Only because I want to dedicate time to myself and then organize the camp outs that people look forward to here. So I know last year I told myself this year I wasn't going to do but maybe a couple events. I think I got like 6 or 7 right now. But
they're not all in Kentucky, right? You said there's South Carolina. There's
yeah, I got South Carolina. I'll be in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee for this Smoky Mountain Terror event. There's 2 events in Pennsylvania that I'll be speaking at. And actually funny that I usually let me see if I can pull them up. I got pictures of them on here, I think. Gwendolyn Purcell, this is one coming up in August. This will be her first annual event, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
Yeah, that's up in Pennsylvania. This is the other Pennsylvania one. This one here is actually the week before my event. So,
okay.
But yeah, I'm actually the keynote speaker for that one, which is exciting. So yeah, June 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's happening in Marionville, Pennsylvania. So, and I don't have all the other ones on here that I used to, but there's that one there. Yeah, this one here should be interesting. It's a 2-day event, and the guy that's hosting this, Justin Thurman, he actually has a great lineup of celebrity actors from different horror movies and stuff. Okay. So yeah. And
that's like down here we have something called Spooky Empire. It's the same thing. It's a huge convention, and they have all the actors of all the, they have the Jason, all the original actors of the
oh yeah. There is one individual, man, I can't remember who it is without looking at the website. But he does have I believe it's remember the Munsters?
Yes, Eddie Munster.
Yeah, the kid. Yeah, I think he's going to be there. So
yeah, I met him. I met him in Savannah, Georgia, a few years ago. Nice.
Oh, very cool. So yeah, I'm missing some of the other events on here. I don't have them all on here, but if you are subscribed to Paraflix, there's a new TV series on there, Hometown Haunts. It's The Beasts of Elkhorn Lake. I was filmed for the first episode on that. So
nice.
Which was awesome because they did it. It wasn't just interviewing me, but we actually went out and did an actual investigation. And the production team, they're actually a paranormal team, and which they were using some of their skills and tactics out there, which actually end up producing some stuff. It was very interesting what went down with that. So
Nice.
we actually heard a couple vocalizations while we were there, which was pretty cool. So
Which is
yeah,
good.
so they actually that their TV series Hometown Haunts is going to consist of Bigfoot encrypted investigations, reports, and also the paranormal, which their second episode they just put out was actually a paranormal investigation from a young girl. So yeah, most of their investigation, their first episodes are here in Virginia. Eventually, they will start expanding and going out of state, picking up other people's stories and reports.
Right.
And basically, I don't want to say it's a reenactment, but basically based off of what happened with my event, we did have some B-roll footage in there that we used while I was wearing the Bigfoot costume. But so any scene you see in that with a Bigfoot in it, that was me in the costume. So yeah.
Not the real thing. It was just Daniel. Yes.
I mean, with this beard growing out, I mean, I've been called Sasquatch, in the workplace. So but I don't know. I might be trimming it off soon. I don't know. But then some people say, "No, don't do it." I say, "Well, I don't know. I mean, it'll grow. It grows fast enough. It grows pretty quick."
I'm sure it's hot though. Hot though in the summer.
That part I can handle. It's not so much the heat. It's just it interferes with eating sometimes.
Okay. All right.
But so it's a major food trap.
Yeah, because everything just kind of collects.
Or if I'm wearing a certain coat or something. Like today, I had my it was at work. I was outside a lot today, and so I had it's a raincoat, but also like a windbreaker. And whenever you're wearing anything, like it pushes it up. I was like, oh man, come on, so yeah.
Move it out of the way and all that stuff.
Or if the wind's blowing real hard, it divides it, like spreads it apart, or it goes to one side, So
yeah, you got like the skunk ape look there with the.
Yeah, maybe I'll just come down there looking like this, and I'll
blend right in.
Yeah, right. Don't be surprised if you see me peeking behind a tree one day. Like,
I know.
Daniel, is that you?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to tell you what. We're getting ready to come to a close. I was wondering if you wanted to share any last-minute words with anything you want to put out there for the public to know about you, or anything coming up that you're involved in, or anything that you want to share. I'm going to give this over to you.
So I'm just like I said before, I'm the founder of the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group on Facebook, YouTube, and I'm the founder of the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Team. So please look for us on Facebook and join us if you like what you see. And I have a great team, very dedicated. Like I said, we're out there every single weekend. The team members, there's 4 of us. It's me, Mike Aguilar, Ruby Jo Brew, and Chris Hensley. And we thoroughly enjoy being with each other, doing research together. We have a good time. I mean, it's just a good thing. It's just wonderful. They're like my best friends. And we find some great stuff. We have found some very unusual things here in Florida, just like you have in Virginia.
Right.
Including paranormal stuff that's happened out there. I don't know if you've encountered paranormal stuff out there, but we have. And most people don't want to talk about that. They don't consider that as evidence, but we don't know. Nobody's an expert here. Nobody knows for sure what they're capable of.
Absolutely.
So,
I personally have not experienced anything. What would people consider paranormal, or even the woo factor? I personally have not experienced any of what people claim on that side of the spectrum. But if I was to experience anything, I would not be ashamed to say, "Look, this happened to me. This is what I saw." Blah blah blah. Because a lot of people ask me questions about that kind of thing, and I'm not going to say I don't believe in it, but then again, just because I haven't experienced it doesn't mean it's not real.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's why.
we've captured EVPs on our audio. One of them said my name. Okay, I mean we've had some strange stuff. My phone goes off by itself. I had
Wow.
twice, and this is a really freaky story. I'll just tell you real quick. In the Green Swamp, there were 2 times when I walked up to an X structure, right? My phone's in my pocket. I hear a voice. I hear hello, hello, hello. And I'm like, what's that? And I pull out my phone. Ex-boyfriend.
What? Wow.
And at a X structure, and a ex-boyfriend calls me. That happened twice to me out there.
Wow.
Twice. And we got it on film once. It's
Wow.
weird because they're like, yeah, what do you want? I'm like, I didn't call you. They're like, yeah, you did. I said, you called me. And they're like, no. Twice. At an X
That's wild.
structure. 2 different ex-boyfriends.
Wow.
I can't make this up. It's the craziest stuff. But we have encountered, we've had stuff thrown at us where in the middle of the night, we're doing an investigation. We didn't know something was thrown at us until we watched the film. And on like night vision, you see this little something being thrown at us. It goes across the screen and it hits one of our team members' backpacks. You hear it thunk, and then you hear it thunk hit the ground. Well, we all had thermal cameras. We all had night vision cameras. Nothing. We did not see what threw that. But whatever it was only about 3 inches, 4 inches long, like a little stick. So how close do you have to be to throw a 4-inch stick at somebody? You have to be pretty close, right? We didn't see anything. Nothing on thermal, nothing on night vision at all, except for that's where we saw the stick actually flying across the screen
Wow.
on the film. But what was that? How do you not see what's throwing a little stick at you? What, they were 20 feet away throwing a stick at you, but you're not seeing it on thermal or night vision? How do you explain that? So it's stuff like that. We've had some really, and most of it's been in the Green Swamp.
Right. That's interesting because, I've had
in the Everglades. We've had some weird activity in the Everglades too. We've heard the chattering. We heard 2 things chattering at each other off in the distance in the Everglades.
Wow. Wow. That's wild. There is one question I meant to ask you earlier, and I didn't ask it, but I'll go ahead and ask it before we jump off here.
Okay.
I asked everybody this, but what do you believe, and what's your opinion, or what do you believe that Bigfoot or the skunk ape might be?
Obviously we don't know.
Right, but
it's a hominid. It's a flesh and blood creature, I think. I mean, there's too much physical evidence. But I do believe that my personal opinion, and even our team, we tend to think that he may have some special abilities, like something that would be considered supernatural to us. Maybe the cloaking, maybe they are able to cloak or turn sideways and, kind of look like they disappear. Maybe they do have some natural abilities that we've never heard of, just like chameleons. You think 100 years ago, a chameleon, somebody told you, oh yeah, I saw a chameleon that was standing on a blue phone and he turned blue. His skin color turned blue. Scientists would be, you're crazy. But when they found a chameleon and they saw that, it's like, oh, wow. Ooh, okay. So maybe Bigfoot does have some kind of special ability to cloak or, whatever. I don't know, but I do believe it's flesh and blood. But I do believe they have some kind of natural, what we would consider supernatural abilities.
Okay, fair enough.
Because we've had the paranormal, the woo stuff happen at the same time as we're Bigfooting. We're not looking for paranormal activity. It's just happening while we're
Right.
So
absolutely, and I personally plan on having. I know they want to be out there too more. I know the same paranormal team that is producing that new show. They want to do follow-ups. However, I've been in contact and on phone conversations with others that want to come up and investigate the area and see if there is anything, see if there's any paranormal connection with what's up there in my area. So I am totally welcoming all this because if there is something, I have hopes of the want to experience for myself and maybe learn a little bit something. Because Lyle, the main producer of the new TV series on Paraflix, he did share when they were doing the editing and going through all the video footage, because we were there both day and night, and he said he himself had mentioned that he had contacted Brandon, the other guy that was with us, part of their team, said, "Hey, we got an EVP." I was like, "What?" So I mean, yeah, there's things out there that's happening. Again, I want to learn and experience more for myself.
What was the EVP? What was it?
I have to ask him. He didn't specify because he had made mention. I didn't know about this, but I had actually interviewed all three of them on one of my last podcasts, and yeah, he had mentioned it. I know. I don't know exactly what the EVP was, but I recall one of their gizmos they had set out there by where we were. I know one of the lights flickered a couple times, but I can recall that much. But as far as their EVP, I'm not sure exactly what that was. I'll have to ask. But so yeah, I'm still learning a lot of what all these things are, these terminologies. So yeah.
And we can't discount that. It could be related to Bigfoot. You can't say, "Oh, it's just paranormal. It has nothing to do with Bigfoot," because if you're trying to put the pieces together of the puzzle, you've got to account for everything.
Right. You got
possibly be evidence. You can't say, "Oh no, not this," or throw this out because it's woo, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we have about 8 EVPs that we've captured out there. And one of them, like I said, sounded like it said my name. And
wow.
It's completed our sentences for us.
What?
Yes, it's even completed the sentences, or it has said things before we said it.
Wow.
Yeah. So what it is, we don't know. But, we're just keeping track of stuff like that because we can't say that's has nothing to do with Bigfoot. It could have something to do with him. Maybe his way of he's able to communicate that way. If you can't, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
We can just speculate. But
right, and I totally agree with you. I mean, we got to keep that open consideration.
Keep an open mind. Think
absolutely.
Outside the box. Keep an open mind. That's the only way we'll figure this out.
The puzzle. I think in time, eventually, the more we stay involved with all this, I mean, we'll start picking up on other things. I mean, then again, I think there's going to be more pieces of the puzzle that might show up, but we might not know where to place them yet. But when all these other pieces show up, it's all we can do is make note of them and. Just keep them, on nearby, it's like, well, whatever. But Marie.
Told you.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But I know your name is Marie. I don't know why that came out Mary, but so. First of all, I want to thank you very much for coming on here. This has been a pleasure, and I've got to hear and learn quite a bit here. And eventually I'd like to get you back on here.
Yeah.
Because not all my podcasts are where I interview people. Sometimes we have open roundtables,
Okay.
discussions. So
Okay.
I like to bring in other people and where we just have an open discussion and which are very random. I mean, the topics are all over the place, but we have fun doing that. So,
That'd be
but
great. That'd be a lot of
absolutely.
fun. Hmm.
So yeah, for those who've been watching, make sure you go subscribe to Marie's YouTube channel. I'm going to see if I can get it right because I didn't write it down yet. The Mid Florida
Bigfoot
uh,
Research Group.
Bigfoot Research Group. Okay. So, yeah, be sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, click that little bell icon. That way, every time they upload something or maybe even go live, you'll get that notification. So,
Yeah.
so again, thank you very much for coming on here tonight.
Thank
And
you. It was a pleasure. It was a true pleasure. Thank you. And I'd love to do it again. So
absolutely.
anytime you want.
Most definitely. And if you got on here late and you missed this episode, anyone, within the week, it should be on the other favorite podcast platforms because I usually download this and upload the audio to my radio podcast. So, and it gets distributed on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, and several other random podcast platforms. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching Bigfoot Zone, ECBRO, and ECBRO Bigfoot Radio. So, till next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Daniel Benoit, and I'm out. And Marie, have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right.